Welcome everyone to another episode of Chasing Labels. This is now episode 19.
No, it's 18. Isn't it 18? No,
I hope it's not. According to my show notes, it's 19 now.
No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. But it's 19, so we're getting towards the end of our teenage years of this podcast. This version of our podcast.
We're going to college.
We're going to college. Growing up fast, getting past that awkward teenage phase, slipping into the existential early adulthood.
Yes, it'll be a David Lynch movie, definitely now. Yeah.
Oh, or at least somebody's movie. But Steven, how you doing? And more importantly, how was your trip to Orbit DVD in Asheville, North Carolina, if I got that correct?
That is correct, yes.
It is a brick-and-mortar store that we've been buying from for a few months now, and I feel like a lot of more people have caught on to the trend.
Yeah, it was a great trip. It was a double, as I previewed in the last episode. It was doubling as an anniversary trip, my 1 year anniversary with my wife Brittany. I love you, Brittany. And we, so we went up there on the first day that we were there, and I did a little bit of video shoot there, and got to talk with Mark McLeod, who's the owner there, and very very nice people that work there. Great service. It's a great store. Not just physical media movies, but a lot of things: T-shirts, posters, video games, action figures, things like that. Just everything, books. And so it's great. It's great going in person. I was very excited being in the store. I could have stayed there and looked through things all day, but though my wife was enjoying herself, she doesn't enjoy that environment as much as I do. So I couldn't keep her there all day, but it was a good time. And we will have Mark McLeod on at some point here in the future. Once I get the video stuff edited up and stuff, we're going to have him on hopefully sometime next month, maybe November. We'll see. But yeah, any particular questions you have for me, Andrew?
One, how was the selection at the store? Because their selection on their website is very, very good. I have found stuff there that I haven't been able to find really anywhere else online, or at least, within a reasonable price. eBay can vary, Amazon can vary, but this store has good pricing and stuff that, like I said, you really can't find anyplace else, especially imported stuff.
Yeah. I would assume basically what was in the store is what's on the site, which the store came first and the site was something that's actually pretty recent from what I was told. The site's only really been a thing since I think right before COVID. So it's only like a couple years old at the most. So the Orbit DVD online is picking up steam, and that's good for the store overall. And he goes into it in the video stuff in the interview I do with him. But it's great selection, man. I don't know that everything that's in the store is online, but I would assume that it is. And it's a great. There's walls and walls full of DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks and even VHSs. Nice. It have everything. So it's really especially for that area, it's part of that community, and hopefully continues to stay there and doesn't get knocked out by gentrification, which is happening everywhere. Apparently that's a thing in Asheville too. That's just a lot of rich people coming up buying stuff. So hopefully it doesn't knock more places like that out.
Yeah, you always see kind of these smaller, businesses get pushed out by the bigger businesses and all that kind of stuff. Well, we've seen it.
Oh yeah,
we've seen it here.
It happens everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially physical media type stuff, whether it be movies, music, stuff like that. If it's not a bustling type, heavily foot trafficked area, if it's more niche and more smaller, they get pushed out by bigger companies. Basically, Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon's forced everybody out of business,
and that's why having the site has been important for them, I think. So hopefully hopefully we can help spread the word on if you're not using Orbit DVD to go check them out. But I will say before we get into the show, I did pick up a few things.
Nice.
While I was there, of course I had to. Even my wife picked up a couple movies. a couple Disney movies. I think a couple she liked as a kid. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember one of them, but the other one was like something like a rooster, some Disney movie with a rooster.
Rockadoodle?
Rockadoodle. Yes, that's it.
I don't know if that's a Disney movie, but either way,
It was.
it's
I'm
a
pretty sure it
classic.
was in the Disney section.
Okay. all right.
Either way, she really wanted that because she liked it as a kid, so she got that. But I picked up a kind of an array of things. I picked up a couple Blu-rays. I picked up what literally just came into the store right before I left, which is the in-print release of As Good as It Gets. I got that, and I also got what else did I get? Oh yeah, the Vinegar Syndrome release of Champagne and Bullets, which is something that I was never aware of and have still not seen, but everybody keeps telling me it's amazing. So I just was like, screw it, that's what I do. I pick up blind buys. So I got that, and then with that, I also got some merch. I got myself an Orbit DVD shirt, and I also got me a used original poster of the Wes Anderson film Grand Budapest Hotel, and it was only $10 used. It's fine. It's in decent shape. So I'm like, shoot. I mean, it's in good enough shape. Still has its color. It's not like worn out by the sun. So I was like, shoot, I could patch that up a little bit, and
Nice.
I could frame that, and it'll still look good. So
You still look good. And what size is the poster? Is it like a full size? Is it like a mini poster?
well, I mean,
What are we talking about?
the original movie posters. Like, I mean, sure, film companies will
They
put
vary.
out. Film companies usually put out like they can put out minis and stuff like that. But I typically collect like the full size movie poster, which is typically 27 by 40, 27 by 41, something like that, and it's double sided.
Nice. That's how you know it's original.
Today. I mean, back in the day, they didn't do that. I think
That's also true.
Yeah, there's a threshold. I think it's somewhere in the late '80s where they started doing the double-sided thing. Yeah, it was a cool trip, and I anybody that gets a chance that is going to the Asheville area nearby, you should go check out Orbit DVD. So
Nice. Yeah, I've ordered from them many times during the COVID times, being stuck at home and whatnot and not being able to go out and shop.
yeah.
And I have an order that's pending right now.
I was gonna say I just had more stuff coming. I had I got Severin's Overboard, and I got the other movie I wanted to get while I was there but hadn't showed up yet, which is Straight Story from Imprint. So
yeah, I know. I'm extremely jealous of that because they do get that stuff in, but they don't get a lot of it in, just because
you have to be quick
cost
on
and
it,
probably
yeah.
whatnot. But I'll say this, I did pick up recently Drugstore Cowboy, the
Nice.
Imprint one that we talked about. We also talked about Straight Story too.
Yeah.
And I also picked up Dementia 13, which we also talked about here on the show.
mine's pre-ordered from Diabolic, and it still hadn't shipped out yet, so I'm waiting. That's the one thing about Orbit I'm noticing is, though it seems like some of these other places are typically pretty fast with shipping, they're not getting the stuff in the stores or they're not getting it out as quickly as Orbit gets them. Like Orbit's not, maybe it might not have like the hugest amount of stock on something, but they're seeming to get some of this stuff earlier than usual. So if you're really wanting it right away, you might want to, like, they don't do pre-orders, but they do seem to get stuff in earlier. So
So keep your eyeballs on their social media on their website.
Yeah, go to Instagram, go to their Facebook. They keep you updated on restocks and stuff like that.
And all that kind of stuff. And they ship out like next day.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got mine in 2 days. Yeah.
And their shipping costs are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like $3 and change is like the cheapest.
Yeah.
And then like the next one, which is, I don't know, first class mail is like $5 and change. So it's like a $2 and something different. So it's kind of worth it.
They're not always like, there's certain particular releases where that maybe not the best priced compared to some other places, but it's rare.
Yeah, it varies.
It's competitive. It's not always.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But
Of course, it's a business, whatever.
of course. Yeah.
But so that's a little bit of a physical media kind of collector's look at Orbit DVD, if you will. But I guess jumping into what we always jump into, Stephen.
We jump into
where do you, a couple of announcements in the last week or so. and we want to just kind of do a little hopping before we kind of settle into our main attraction. Well, semi-main attraction this time. That would be the Criterion announcements, which were the big releases of the week for many collectors out there. Well, Steven, where do you want to start off first?
Let's get a couple of these like smaller release slates out of the way, like the couple of the thing. Well, actually, let's start off with the minor the footnote of indicator news that we got.
Yes.
So we got if you're part of the newsletter of Indicator, you got this in your email. That Indicator, which you would have hoped that was gonna have new releases for December. Apparently, that's not going to happen. They're actually going to be shifting the Mae West set that was set for November, and they're moving it to I think December 13th, if I'm not mistaken, is the new date on it now. And
I believe so.
Yeah, so kind of disappointing, but they're saying they got more stuff they want to put in this Mae West set, and they need the time to do it. So hey, I mean, look, if you're excited for that Mae West set, you're about to get more stuff. If you were hoping to see something new, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But Indicator puts out such good stuff. They've been putting out of all these physical media, outlets. I think Indicator puts out box sets like more regularly than any other label out there. So like you're getting tons of movies each month, even if it's just a box set. I mean, like this particular set, it's got 10 films in it.
It's got 10 movies in it, which we went over a few weeks ago with our guest, Leigh, I believe.
Yes.
And we went all into that set. It was already an abundance of riches in that set, and now I guess they're going to be adding more special features, I assume. So that's always nice. So you'll get more for your money, which if you're a collector, that's kind of what you want.
Of course.
And so that was a little bit of that. So we almost had a kind of a big double headlining show this week with Indicator and Criterion announcements, but we got kind of a little bit of Criterion.
It's typically how it lines up, but unfortunately,
it's usually how it lines up.
But it's all good, I want the release to be as good as it can be, and I'm excited for whatever they got coming. So, but a couple of the other shorter announcements. One label we don't talk about very much is Oscilloscope.
It is indeed a fun word.
Yes,
fun word to say.
Fun word to say. Hopefully they put out more stuff so we can say it more often. But
that's true.
But
so
you go ahead.
Go on.
I was just going to say. You give me a Coke, please.
Yeah, we don't even. Yeah, it's like we don't even coordinate this. We just riff.
Yeah.
We just riff.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this one.
Oscilloscope
is putting out the film Short Bus, which is directed by John Cameron Mitchell, who did what's the movie? Henry the Angry. I don't know the name of the movie.
Yeah, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which just got a Criterion release last year or the year before.
Yes,
these years just keep running together.
I have seen that movie. I do have that movie. I just for some reason couldn't remember the name. Cool movie, cool musical.
It's a musical adaptation and very stylized, very good.
In the queer cinema
very much
area.
So, yes.
And you said you've seen this film, so this also delves into the same subject matter.
Very much so. He also directed the film Rabbit Hole, a little more straightforward film with Nicole Kidman. I don't know if you ever saw that film,
no, I
Steven.
don't think so.
From 2010. Very emotional film. I think it has like a parents, Nicole Kidman and Aaron Eckhart, they're dealing with the loss of a son who died, who got hit by a car and died, so they're grieving. It's a very emotional film. Okay. Completely different than a lot of the stuff he did in some of these other films. Specifically, this film here, Short Bus, is dealing with a lot of emotional type things. Basically, I guess kind of put this together in a short synopsis. Short Bus is this kind of club, this kind of place where people of basically the LGBTQ plus community, I guess kind of everyone seems to be welcome there, but it's a very liberal, free place where there's just people doing drugs, people drinking, there's just massive sex that's happening, orgies and all kind of things. Very free love,
sounds
very hippie-ish, if you will.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I'll say this, even this film, out of all of the films I've seen, is very open and free sexually, but it's not done in an erotic fashion.
Gotcha.
And emphasizing the eroticism of sex, but kind of emphasizing the naturalism of sex. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of human nature and being a human and whatnot. And it's a lot of nudity, a lot of stuff like that. So go into, if you're particularly sensitive to those things, maybe this film's not for you. And the film starts off right away in that fashion, so it doesn't hide its cards at all. And what happens is you're focused on a couple of people who are dealing with kind of personal issues and personal problems. There's a gay couple that is dealing with kind of couple issues. There's a woman she is like a couples sexual therapist, but she can't achieve an orgasm herself, so she's struggling with, like, why can't I do that? Is there some type of mental block in me? Is there something wrong with me? Am I not sexually, strong enough for my husband and things like that? It's a very interesting film like that, and you get a bunch of side characters who kind of cross paths with all these people, and it's just them dealing with all of these emotional things. It's a really good film. It's a very 2000s indie film. Mid-2000s, came out in 2006, just to put it into that perspective. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film. And I think it's only had a Blu-ray release in Germany previously. And Oscilloscope themselves doesn't put out a lot of movies. Some that people may be familiar with. The Love Witch, which came out a couple of years ago. We Need to Talk About Kevin, the film by Lynn Ramsey, which stars Tilda Swinton.
They put out they put out Columbus.
And they put out Columbus,
Yeah.
which is a film near and dear to Stephen and I's cinematic hearts.
Yes, we love it.
We do love it.
We love John Cho. Love you, John Cho.
We do. I do love Haley Richardson as well. But yeah, they also put out the movie St. Francis, which I've seen. Exit Through the Gift Shop, which is that documentary about Banksy. So they don't have a lot of stuff in their filmography, but they've got some solid indie work, very, very much in that vein. So that's Short Bus, and I believe this is getting a 4K restoration, a 4K remaster. So they're going full tilt on this.
Cool. Well,
Very
I'm
nice.
interested, definitely.
It doesn't see, and it says early next year, so obviously not happening this year.
Yeah. All right.
But next up on the docket is Second Sight is putting out a Blu-ray release of the film Swallow, which came out, I want to say, sometime last year. Like,
You said 2019, I think.
Okay, it was probably one of those 2019.
Fading into 2020. Beginning of 2020,
like it was in the festival circuits, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then got a wide release early 2020. Which, of course, the pandemic hit, and then everything went sideways.
Yes.
Steven, have you seen this movie?
I have not, but I'm very interested in it. It looks like an A24 movie. It looks like really weird.
I don't even know if it's an A24 movie, but it is a weird movie.
Yeah, it looks weird. It's got a woman who just like starts swallowing things, like random objects.
Yes, like she swallows like rocks and pins and marbles, and she kind of keeps upping the ante. And there's a whole reason, like a subconscious traumatic reason why she does it, and you get into her backstory as to why she's doing it. It's a lot of, metaphors and stuff like that. Haley Bennett
sounds super artsy.
Yes, it's good. I
liked it.
would highly
Okay.
recommend it. Haley Bennett is the star of it, and she is, I don't think, an actress too many people are familiar with. I'm just looking her up now just to see if I can. Yeah, she was in like The Magnificent Seven, The Girl on the Train with Emily Blunt, and yeah, she's kind of more in the indie realm. Like, I mean, she was in the Rules Don't Apply film, which I don't think a lot of people saw that either. Yeah, kind of an indie actress. She was in The Equalizer. Remember the movie with Denzel Washington?
I know that one.
Yes.
And
Hardcore
not
Henry.
the Queen Latifah one?
No. No, you mean the TV series
show,
that's on now?
Yeah.
What's interesting is, Equalizer was a show back in the day, too.
Yeah. All right.
So, and let me see the deets. Is there any details? Oh, there are special features.
Yeah.
It's a new audio commentary by director Carlo Mirabella Davis and producers Molly Asher and Minette Louis. A personal story, a new interview with Carlo Mirabella Davis, something bubbling underneath, a new interview with Molly Asher. The Process, a new interview with editor Joe Murphy. Metal and Glass, a new interview with composer Nathan Halpern. A Room of One's Own, Alexandra Heller Nicholas on Swallow. Knife Point, a short film by Carlo Mirabella Davis. Then English subtitles for The Heart of Herring. And then, in typical Second Sight fashion,
Yes.
you get a rigid slipcase with new artwork by Haley Turnbull, softcover booklet with exclusive introduction by Carlo Mirabella Davis, and new essays by Ann Bilson, Jordan Crucchiola, that's a name,
Nice.
and Ellie Kemp, and the 6 collector's art cards.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
cool.
Yeah, I'm. This might be a blind buy. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. You're telling me it's good, but I am.
Yeah,
gonna,
I like the cover of this
Yeah, I
set
do
as
too.
well.
Yeah, but
Got just a
thing is
bunch
I'm
of
going to
pins.
be spending so much money on that guest that is
Mm,
coming out the month before,
yes.
which we got confirmation on that in between
Yeah,
episodes.
they just announced all the details for that set, and that's talk about a gorgeous cover looking set.
Yeah.
That looks really, really nice. Yeah, this is not coming out until November 22nd.
Yes. But it's got a lot of new features in it, so if there was a previous Blu-ray, this is probably going to blow it away.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, did we get one here? I think we did. We did get one here in August 4th of 2020, so a year ago.
Yeah.
And it had absolutely jack nothing for special features. It
Doesn't
had
surprise
the
me.
theatrical trailer. That is it.
Yep. So this is going to blow that out of the water. It is a Region B, so I mean, there is that. But you know, we can only tell you so many times to invest in a Region B player,
I know, come on.
a Region Free player.
I wish
so
they
you
would-
can
I wish
get
they
into
would pay
this
us.
shit. So look, just listen to us. Like, god damn it. But all right. Well, let's move on to Studio Canal.
Studio Canal, where we're getting a double feature. Not really a double feature.
This is a big one for you because I know you're a big Mike Leigh fan.
I am a big Mike Leigh fan. So first up, which got a little more fanfare in terms of announcements, is his movie All or Nothing. And this is getting a 4K restoration. And I think it looks like it's just coming with the extras that were on the DVD. Because I believe this is making its Blu-ray premiere,
Okay.
maybe even worldwide. Because I know here all we have is the DVD, and I know I bought that thing used years ago. It looks like, yeah. I'm just doing a quick look-see, and then
Jesus,
yeah, it
you
looks
don't
like it is
already
getting
know-
its
You don't
Blu-ray
already
review.
know this?
I know. I should have done this research before.
I'm just saying, like, you
I should've
usually
started.
just pull the shit out of your ass, and you know it already.
And when I get, yeah, I know. I should just lie, make shit up.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're lying. I'm
it's
saying you
this
just
came out already.
somehow come out with all this knowledge. It just pours out of you. I know it sounds like I
know.
say you're lying, but no, it's
Yeah,
not.
I know. But it is, yeah. So this is going to be a Blu-ray premiere worldwide, and this is a good movie. It's kind of an underrated movie in Mike Leigh's filmography. It came out in 2002. We talked a little bit about it back
Did we?
in the Cinema Discovery Project days.
Okay.
And in some episode, you mentioned it.
Okay.
Really great cast.
Yeah,
Timothy
him and
Spall.
Timothy Spall do a ton of movies together.
Yeah, Timothy Spall, Leslie Manville, Sally Hawkins is in this. A really, really young James Corden, regardless of what you think of him now, dancing in the streets in Los Angeles for no good reason whatsoever.
Sounds like him.
He's in this movie. So, yeah, Mike Leigh, for people who don't know, you know, he's a British filmmaker with a pretty long career starting in the 80s, I think. And he does films that are very grounded in kind of humanity and
Yeah.
really hitting on a lot of, you know, dramatic personal issues and stuff like
I
that.
was gonna say he typically seems to zero in on the working class people.
The working class,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
kind of the blue collar people
Yeah.
and their day to day struggles and things that are important to them.
Yeah.
That seems to be his thing. He does drift out a little bit and
Every
does,
once in a while, yeah.
and does like kind of other things that are like not quite in his wheelhouse, but still he's such a good filmmaker. At least to me, he still pulls it off.
Did he do the Timothy Spall movie where he played an artist? Was
Yeah,
that
I was
him?
gonna say Mr. Turner.
Yeah, Mr. Turner. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of one that's kind of more out of his wheelhouse. It's a
Yeah.
period piece about a famous painter from like I think the 19th century,
Yeah.
and yeah,
But
that was in
he's got that
2014.
range, but he typically likes to stay within that drama, that down in
Right.
the mud drama, which are some of these are hard to watch, on that
Because they're very real, and what he gets out of his actors is just these gut-punchingly dramatic and real performances
Yeah.
that are heavy, really heavy. They're not easy films to watch.
I
Like you
really
said.
need to catch up on Mike Leigh. I've seen a few of his films. I've seen Life is Sweet, and I've seen Naked, and I think I've seen maybe one other one. But he's got so many movies that keep getting releases, and I'm like, damn, I just gotta get all this Mike Leigh just to watch it.
Yeah, I think for me, I probably said this a few times here on the show, so bear with me.
It's okay.
I first discovered him in college because I had a professor who was British, and he was just giving us like British films to watch, and he just gave us Mike Leigh, and we watched his film Secrets and Lies
Yeah,
from
which
96.
just got
from
a
96.
release.
Just got a Blu-ray release last year or this year.
This year from Criterion.
Yeah, this year Criterion release, and I told you I waited a decade for that release, just because it was impossible to get on DVD.
Yeah,
and a bunch of his stuff has gotten Criterion releases. Meantime, which was a TV movie
that's
from
the other one
83,
I've seen. That's the other one.
starring Tim Roth.
Yeah,
Really
that's the
young
one
Tim
I was
Roth.
thinking of. Is yeah.
Yeah, that's like set in like Margaret Thatcher, working class people just like living a day-to-day life with no hope of ever advancing in any way, shape, or form. Like it's really, talk about nihilistic films.
Yeah.
His films can be very nihilistic in that regard. Life is Sweet has a Blu-ray release. Secrets and Lies, Naked, Topsy Turvy has a Blu-ray release. Not all of his films do. I think Happy Go Lucky is still one that needs one, at least here. That one stars Sally Hawkins as a super optimistic person. And I think Another Year has one here already. But what was I saying? All or Nothing, 2002. Good film. Highly recommended. But talk about a movie that is super, super dark. And kind of his follow-up feature to that is Vera Drake, came out in 2004. This is also getting a Blu-ray release, but they really didn't say whether it was getting a 4K restoration or anything like that. I'm assuming these are going to come out around the same time.
Yeah, I would assume it's probably the same week.
All or Nothing says November 8th.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about Vera Drake, and I say that as I look at the article, and it also says November 8th. So
Look at
completely
that.
disregard everything I just said.
Look at that.
Look at that. See what happens when you read
You should just read stuff.
press announcements?
Yeah.
God
I'm not
damn,
going to edit
it's
this
so
out,
easy.
by the way.
Oh, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
We don't do that here.
But Vera Drake hit me like a ton of bricks when I watched it the other night. Vera Drake is a movie about a woman who, circa 1950, is performing abortions for young women, and abortion was illegal in Great Britain at the time.
Yeah.
So what happens is, as one can imagine, she gets found out, and her life is completely turned upside down and goes south really quickly. And what is the most frustrating thing about it is the character portrayed by Imelda Staunton, Vera Drake, is like the nicest person in the world. Like she like helps her neighbors who are who are like sick. She cleans like houses for a living. She's always like taking care of people, inviting people over for dinner and giving them tea. The nicest person in the world, and she's helping out young women who, are in desperate need in desperate situations and need this, this procedure done and whatnot. And she gets found out, and because of the way the system is set up at the time, this good person is destroyed by it. Yeah. So it's a really harrowing film. It leaves you quite depressed by the end, I'll say that.
That seems to be your favorite.
Yeah, yes it does. But you're not quite prepared for that Mike Leigh level of nihilistic depression until it hits you. And you're like, damn, I gotta watch something much, much easier after this.
Yeah.
So those are getting both released by Studio Canal.
Awesome. Well, moving on from that, I think we got maybe... No, that's we got one more single release that we'll talk about, and that's Warner Archive just popping up out of nowhere.
It's a quick one.
It's just a quick one here. They didn't give us like 3 or 4. They gave us just one out of nowhere, and that's the film starring Peter Lorre, Mad Love, and this is from 1935. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this as a sci-fi romance horror. You said you've seen this.
I have seen this. Yeah, this movie only runs 68 minutes long, so
Okay.
it's a quick watch, and this is a quick kind of overview. So Peter Lorre plays this doctor called Dr. Gogol, and he becomes obsessed with this woman, and he performs this procedure on her, I think, fiance or boyfriend. I don't think it's quite her husband, and he gives him hands of. Yeah, her husband or fiance is a famed pianist, and he gives him the hands of like a someone who like was like an executioner, like he worked like the guillotine.
Gotcha.
And I guess it's one of those kind of like possessed hands. Type
Idle
movies.
hand. This is like an idle hand before idle hand.
Kind of, yeah, or like something like that. And yeah, it's a recently executed prisoner, Rollo the knife thrower. And when Stephen regains the use of his hands, those around him find that he has also undergone a personality change and is now prone to violent fits of temper.
This is the original Body Parts. We talked about Body Parts.
Yes, we did.
What was it? Who was putting that out? It was it Vinegar Syndrome? We talked about Vinegar Syndrome releases, and Body Parts was one of them.
I think so.
I think it was Vinegar Syndrome.
Let me look it up. But
this is like the same idea, but like years before. Yeah, Yeah,
Body Parts is getting. Actually, they already had a release. It had a release by Shout Factory here, but I think it's getting a re-release from somebody else.
We just talked about this. How do you not remember?
I don't remember. Oh, you know what it is? It's our good friends in Australia.
Oh,
Imprint.
Really? That was an Imprint release?
Yeah, November Imprint release.
Crazy.
Yeah. But it already has a release here from Shout Factory from 2020.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's got like a similar thing going on there, but probably a better movie.
Peter Lorre plays creepy very, very well because his whole aesthetic is very much much leans into that.
Was this like when was M, like 28?
M was 1931.
31. So this was right before.
This is right in that range.
Yeah.
It has that feel of like that German expressionistic feel to it. It's a very foreboding film dealing with kind of like obsessive creepiness and stuff like that, which we know we could play from M. It's a good movie.
Well, I mean I
dig it.
The director is the cinematographer for Metropolis.
What did I just say? German.
There you go, right
cinema.
there, buddy.
There it is.
He also did cinematography for Key Largo, Dracula. So he's done a lot of good stuff. So the look that you were talking about, it's definitely it's German expressionism, definitely. But yeah, I mean so you recommend?
I do recommend it, and in typical fashion, I'm assuming the Warner Archive release is going to look good, and I'm assuming it's going to contain the special features from the DVD if there were any.
Yeah.
Don't really know about that. They just seem to be copying over the DVD extras in these Warner Archive re-releases or releases in general. So that's coming October 19th. So right around Halloween time. Seems a little appropriate.
But now we faked out the audience. Usually we start the show with these people, but
I know
we decided to go in the middle of the show.
Breaking all the
classics.
Nice. They're, of course, busy people, as always. And the first up that they're releasing is
that's a big one.
From a director near and dear to my heart. And this is the film Crybaby by John Waters. And you may be asking yourself, hey, this already has a Blu-ray release. Well, now we're getting a 4K UHD release of it. And this is going to be a very interesting experience for a lot of people. This is one of his more accessible films, if you will, for the most part. It's a musical take on like the 1950s, like like Greaser, like Happy Days, and in the Grease type era. And in the movie stars Johnny Depp, a young Johnny Depp coming off, I think, 21 Jump Street at the time. Yeah. And this came
was
out
kind
in
of his breakout movie.
Yeah, this movie has the usual group of John Waters players, but like Willem Dafoe's also in it. Iggy Pop is in it as well, and like I said, Johnny Depp. And yeah, there's so much to say about this movie, but we don't have the time. We just
Yeah.
don't have the time. I'm super excited about this, even though I have the Blu-ray already. I will be getting it. Also, I think it's the first John Waters film in 4K. I don't know what that means for the rest of his filmography because most of it still needs Blu-ray releases. Come on, someone release Cecil B. Demented.
I'm
That's all I
assuming
want on Blu-ray.
Criterion hopefully has the, he's got such a, seems like such a good relationship with Criterion. You'd think the rest of the stuff would eventually make it over there.
I think they were going to get another release from them sometime soon.
Yeah.
Obviously not this year, since we got our whole slate laid out for this year, but hopefully next year. I'm still holding out for Pink Flamingos.
Yeah.
It's his most well-known film. It's kind of the film that made him the person who we kind of know he is today, and I would just love that because there hasn't been a Blu-ray release yet of that, at least that I don't know off the top of my head, and the DVD I think is out of print. And if it's not out of print, I would just rather have the Blu-ray instead.
Yeah.
But moving on, we're getting a movie called Freud, which is from 1962, directed by John Huston, starring one of my all-time favorite actors in Montgomery Clift. I think he's one of the greatest actors of all time and kind of gets forgotten when we talk about greatest actors of all time. But he's playing the the well-known, notorious Sigmund Freud, and this film gets into him developing his theories on, the Oedipus complex and human psyche on sexuality, as well as hypnosis and all this kind of stuff. Movie runs about 2 hours and 20 minutes, a little long in the tooth, but it's still a really good movie dealing with a lot of interesting philosophical ideas that I think are worth discussing. Great performances too. But next up is Jet Pilot. I'm assuming everyone knows what that movie could possibly be about.
Is it about
I'm guessing
pilots
aviation.
that are in jets?
Ooh, looks like from the cover.
Okay,
looks
cool,
like from the
cool,
cover.
cool.
Well, it does come from, I guess, aviation enthusiast Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
And
It's directed.
stars, I don't know if he directed or if he just
No, I was going to
produced
say
it
it's
at the
directed
time.
by Joseph von Sternberg.
Oh, yes, directed by Joseph von Sternberg.
Yeah.
But I think Howard Hughes was producing it at the time. This may be an RKO film, depending on when it came out, 1957, perhaps. But it does star John Wayne and Janet Leigh, which is a very interesting pairing.
Yeah, right before her Psycho.
Psycho,
Yeah.
yes. And this is 57, so this is John Wayne kind of still relevant, if that makes sense.
We've been seeing a lot of John, like this era John Wayne, like the Indicator stuff from a month or so ago had like what was the firefighting film that he did.
Yes, it did. And I would say they've been putting out a lot of non-Western John Wayne stuff lately. Because he, of course, is more known for being in Westerns, but throughout his career, he was in like war movies and then movies like, this looks like a war movie. It's a jet pilots, for heck's sake. But it looks like it's coming with an audio commentary by critic Nick Pinkerton. That's kind of cool, and it includes both versions of the movie in 185:1 widescreen and 137:1, more full screen-ish.
Yeah.
I was just going to look up something, but couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, Joseph von Sternberg, that's who it is.
I said
that's
that
what really interested me, because this is like way past what we know Joseph von Sternberg. He was making movies in the 30s for Paramount with Marlene Dietrich. This is kind of more later von Sternberg. What does it look like? And in color, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a Joseph von Sternberg in color, ever. But moving on from there, I don't know if you want me to bring this movie up, Steven.
We're at 21 hours at Munich.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Because
Yeah.
I know you said, I think we may have mentioned it before.
We might have talked about it, but I can't remember, so.
Neither can I. This is coming out in December 7th, and this is exactly what the title of the movie is. It's covering the tragic, massacre, terrorist event at the 1972 Munich Olympic Games, which of course was covered in Steven Spielberg's film Munich, but that was more about the kind of response to Munich as opposed to the Munich incident itself, but it, of course, shows a lot of that. But this is a very kind of cold, very kind of matter-of-fact retelling, dramatization of those events, and it may have been a TV movie at the time.
It stars William Holden and Franco Nero's in it.
It does star William. This is like late William Holden, 'cause I
Yeah.
believe he passed away not too soon after this. And he's good in the movie. Franco Nero plays like the lead terrorist guy, and Franco Nero, as far as I know, is not from the Middle East in any
I'm
way,
pretty
shape,
sure
or
he's
form.
not.
Not,
I'm pretty sure he's
not at
maybe
all.
Italian, but
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, he's Italian. I just saw Django the other day, and it's like, yeah, that's, and I just saw an interview with him. He still has the Italian accent. And yeah, this is, like I said, 1976, and yeah, it was a TV movie.
okay. Yeah.
Directed by William A. Graham. And yeah, it's fine, it's good. Just kind of retells the story. It's kind of interesting that this came out like 4 years after the events.
Yeah.
Think it was a little too soon?
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were making 9/11 movies like a few years after 9/11 happened.
When I was watching this, you know what I kept thinking of? You'll appreciate this. The World Trade Center movie with Nicolas Cage, directed by Oliver Stone, which came out in, I think, 2006, which was like 5 years after the events of 9/11.
Wasn't the one with where it took place on the plane? Wasn't that or even earlier?
Oh, was it Flight 93? Flight 93?
Yeah.
The
United
one,
93.
United 93, that's what it
Yeah.
was. United 93.
Wasn't that a little earlier?
No, it came out 2006, the
Okay,
same
okay.
year. Paul Greengrass. So, yet again, 5 years after.
Apparently 5 years is the...
It was like the threshold.
Yeah. Once we're past 5 years, guys, it's all bets are off.
I mean, kind of coincidental. Right now, we're going through like this global pandemic where, hundreds of thousands of people are dying and getting sick and whatnot, and they're making movies about it while it's happening. So there's no threshold anymore.
Apparently not,
It's just
yeah.
happening. It's just like we're making it now. It's like there's no. I guess Hollywood in the movie making world really has no conscience
have no
about really
shame.
anything.
No.
Yeah, they have no shame.
But yeah, cool.
Moving on from there, we're moving to another William Holden movie, and this is...
The Christmas tree.
Oh, it is. And
Well, it's,
this has a
directed
this has
by
a
Terrence
temporary...
Young.
Yeah. This has a temporary poster, and that's just a bad poster.
Yeah, it's too pink.
It's also just like still pictures from the movie in black
Yeah.
and white. And it's a movie that came out in 1969.
It's
I don't know
memories.
why would...
It's that's what it is. It's memories.
Yeah, the movie was directed by Terrence Young, who did Dr. No, From Russia with Love.
Let's say he did a
Wait Until Dark.
of James Bond.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that looks familiar. I've not seen this movie. I mean, I will always watch anything with William Holden in it. I don't know. I wouldn't be buying this straight up. It is getting also a release on DVD at the same time, which we don't see kind of that tandem happen very often.
Yeah.
But that's what that is. Next is a movie that is quite interesting, and I won't spend too much time on it. It's a Tobe Hooper film from 1990. It's a TV movie that aired on the USA Channel Network, whatever you want to call it. I'm Dangerous Tonight, starring Machen Amick and Anthony Perkins.
The way the poster has the tonight, it has like the O in like an
Yeah,
oval
it's
shape.
like
Should I say like
tonight.
tonight?
And
Should
also,
I say it with
they're really selling the erotic sexuality of like 1990s cable. They really are.
I guess. I mean,
I mean, well, they've got the poster has like the red lighting with the chiaroscuro,
yeah.
like lighting effects and whatnot, and it's like,
Yeah, somebody watched Basic Instinct too many times. Didn't that come
which I
out?
think Basic Instinct came out after this. Coincidentally,
I thought
it
that.
came out
Or
in
what's
92.
the one I'm thinking of? Or Body Heat. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Somebody watched Body Heat too many times.
Somebody watched a Brian De Palma film. I mean, I'm not saying anything against Tobe Hooper, but his work in the 80s, and then, of course, his 90s stuff wasn't great. But he's most known for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is one of the seminal horror films of the entire genre, I would say.
Yeah.
He also directed Poltergeist, which is another well-known film in pop culture. and he directed the film Life Force, which no one really talks about, but I kind of find as a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Which basically alien vampire movie. That's kind of what Life Force is.
It's kind of cool.
It does have a Blu-ray release from Scream Factory, if anyone cares. But yeah, moving on from I'm Dangerous tonight. We're moving. Oh, not bringing it up
Don't you
again.
dare say
Not doing
Invasion
it.
of the
Not
Body
doing it.
Snatchers.
Not doing it. Invasion of the Body
Because they
Snatchers.
posted, once again, Invasion of the Body Snatchers again, just
But
because they
this
know
time,
I'm
Steven,
pissed off.
This time, we finally get all the details of it.
But we don't care, do we? You're going to buy it anyway. God
I
damn
know.
it.
But scrolling past it, we have a movie starring Ray Milland and Marlena Dietrich in Golden Earrings, directed by Mitchell Leisen, who we've been seeing a lot of Blu-ray releases from recently, just kind of randomly. And there was a bunch of his movies on the Criterion Channel streaming service as well. But for me, anything starring Marlena Dietrich, I'm down. I'm down for.
You like Ray Milland too, so yeah.
I do like Ray Milland. You saw The Weeknd.
I did.
believe that was Ray
I
Milland.
It's one of my favorite Billy Wilder movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I haven't seen this movie yet. I'm kind of want to do a Mitchell Leisen marathon, just
Do you now?
because all of his stuff's getting released. Because I think some of his stuff is maybe in the Carol Lombard sets or something like that, or at least one of his movies is maybe in there. But I'm really interested in this. Highly interested in this. It just says coming soon on Blu-ray. Movies from 1947, so I'm down. Next up, we're getting a brand new 4K remaster of John Ford's The Horse Soldiers, starring John Wayne and William Holden. A lot of William Holden this
Christ,
week.
William.
I know. Everyone, I think most people are familiar with John Ford. Stagecoach,
Yeah.
Ford Apache, The Searchers, etc., etc., etc. John Wayne and him had an illustrious career tandem together, making all kinds of movies down in Monument Valley. And looks like it's a Western. This is his wheelhouse, man.
It's just another Western. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty good.
I think I've seen this movie, to be straightforward.
See, that
with you.
tells you a lot because they've made so many Westerns together. You're like, I think I've seen it.
And I know it has a Blu-ray release previously to this, so this is a re-release in a better transfer.
Okay.
So even if I haven't seen it, of course there's more movies with the name Horse Soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh, I have. You know what? Crazy. I have seen this movie, and I gave it a rating on Letterboxd as well.
Let me guess. 3 stars.
3.5, actually.
Jeez, you kind of liked it.
I saw this on May 23rd, 2015, which seems like several lifetimes ago at this point. Damn, that was a long time ago. But yeah, it's a cavalry movie where I guess William Holden and John Wayne are in the cavalry, and they're in the Civil War doing some stuff, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So hence the name Horse Soldiers.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, I think that's about it.
That's it.
That is all Kino caught up until 9 hours ago.
Yeah. Usually, you never know if they're just going to release something in the middle of the show.
They go right up to the wire. Also, they don't care about weekends.
Yeah.
Saturdays, Sundays. They take
That
no days
social
off.
media person's just always working.
Hopefully that person's getting paid
I hope so.
for working on the
Probably not.
weekends.
But okay. Well, now as we said, we're going to go to the Criterion December announcements.
We're hitting the headlining show.
Yeah. So they did not have as many. Usually December's a lighter month, so we only get 3
super light.
releases, and one of them had already been teased. Actually, I mean, 2 of them have been teased technically, but more recently, the Red Shoes. Getting its 4K release is been announced here for December. But we'll start with the first week, which is the other one that I'd heard about, which is One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King. And this was her debut, right?
Yes, I believe this is her directorial debut. It came out last year and was a pretty high critically acclaimed movie.
Yeah.
And it's an adaptation of a play, which I
very much. I
fondness
actually
for.
finally got a chance to watch this before
Oh,
the
nice.
show. Yeah, it was good, and it's definitely play-like because it's mostly set in one room, where you have 4 seminal figures of the African American community coming together in this like hotel room in Miami. You got Muhammad Ali, or Cassius Clay at the time, and then you have Malcolm X, and then you have Sam Cooke, the musician, and then you had Jim Brown, who was a NFL football player, and they all kind of come together, and it's a film about how them as being black men in that time need to use their image to further the black community, essentially.
There's a lot of philosophical debate, discussions, and what is interesting is it all takes place on February 25th, 1964, in the aftermath of Muhammad Ali, I believe, winning the world championship in boxing for the first time.
Yes.
I forgot who he defeated.
He beats Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston, yes, it was. And it's kind of the aftermath of that. But what's interesting is setting it in 1964 is that these four individuals will, after this, they will all have like defining moments of their lives. So you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a crossroads of their lives at that specific moment, and it would all go in a bunch of different ways. I mean, we all know Muhammad Ali would go on to many different things. Sam Cooke, of course, with his music, and then his tragic death. Malcolm X would get assassinated eventually, and Jim
Brown's still acting.
Jim Brown's still around. He actually is. But at that time, he left a very productive and successful NFL career to become an actor.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, but it's a really great film. Very well directed, really tight film in terms of screenplay and acting and all that kind of stuff is phenomenal. I thought Regina King was amazing. There's nothing right now that Regina King can't do in terms of her career. Yeah. No, she's on cloud a million. it's like she's getting nominated like every year for something or dropping amazing performances all the time. And
she's doing TV.
I love this movie.
She does TV. She's doing film. She's
got
at least a couple Oscar nominations as an actress.
She did win.
She won
for her performance in If Beale Street Could Talk. But in terms of Emmy awards, she won in 15, she won in 16, nominated in 17, and then she won one in 18, and in 2020 she won one. So she's got Emmys galore. Yeah. And then all kinds of other nominees and all kinds of accolades and praise and critical achievements and whatnot. Yeah, she's amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And this movie is phenomenal. Yeah, I think it was in my top 10.
All the actors were really good at portraying their characters. I specifically think, I would say the guy that played Malcolm X was particularly good for me. I would like to say his name I can't find his name here.
It's Kingsley Ben Adir.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he was really good
I'm on the
as
IMDb.
Malcolm X. Of course, we've seen Malcolm X in other films. Denzel played him.
Most well known.
Yeah. And but there was something about this guy who really I feel like he got to the heart of Malcolm X's message, but also bringing a little bit more of like a human side to him, because like people only see him through his speeches, and think
which
that
are
he's
very exuberant,
they're very
showy.
Some could say, and even the people there, like specifically, he gets in kind of a confrontation with Sam Cooke. About his message and how they kind of see him as being this angry person, but you can tell by their friendship and how he talks with his family in the film that he's not necessarily that's not all who he is. He just really believes in his message, and that's how he believes he can get it across the best, is by showing strength, but he also is got a soft side, a tender side. And I just thought that was a really good way of showing the character, and I mean it's really an enthralling watch. So
I was actually wondering the other day when this was going to come out on Blu-ray, because I wanted it.
Yeah.
It is available to stream on Amazon Prime, but of course, us being physical media enthusiasts and for movies, we want that Blu-ray in hand. And the reason why is because we do have a list of quite a few special features here. So going into those, we have a new 4K digital transfer approved by director Regina King with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio on the Blu-ray. A new conversation between King and filmmaker Casey Lemons. When is her film Eve's Bayou going to be released on Blu-ray? That's a question I still have. New conversation among King, screenwriter Kent Powers, and critic Gil Robertson. Conversation between King and filmmaker Barry Jenkins from a 2021 episode of The Director's Cut, a DGA podcast. A new program featuring King and actors Kingsley Ben-Adir, Eli Gorey, Aldous Hodge, and Leslie Odom Jr., so our prominent actors from the movie.
Yes.
And then a new program on the making of the film featuring King, Powers, director of photography Tammy Riker, editor Tariq Anwar, producer Jody Klein, costume designer Francine Jameson Tunchuk, and set decorator Janessa Hitzman. A new program on the film's sound design featuring sound editor and mixer Andy Hayes, sound mixer Paul Ledford, and music producer Nick Baxter. And then English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, and then English descriptive audio, plus an essay by critic Gene Seymour, and the new cover by R. Gregory Christie. And I do very much like the cover of the movie,
do too, yeah.
Of the Blu-ray. I'll say this though, that's a nice extras package for a brand new movie for Criterion.
Yeah, once again, getting a film from Amazon too. Like I think what Beast of No Nation was also another Amazon pickup, right?
Well, that was from Netflix.
Or is that Netflix? Okay.
Yeah, that was Netflix.
Wasn't there some, well, we know that we're getting what's the drummer film is coming from Amazon. We're getting that.
Oh, yes, we are getting that. I almost said Sound of Silence, but it's not. It's not. Who's the actor who's in that movie?
Why do you put me on the spot?
Oh, Steven, you're killing me here.
You're killing me. It's
killing me, Smalls.
It's the guy.
He was in. He was in Rogue One.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That's okay. I'm on it.
Sound of Metal is the movie.
Sound of Metal. There you go.
At least got that. Jesus Christ.
Damn, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Yeah, Sound of Metal is getting a Criterion release at some point.
And that's
obviously
Amazon.
Next year. Yeah. But these streaming services, I guess both Netflix and Prime are starting to put out their movies in physical media form. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's about time the other ones kind of pick up the pace as well. And they both seem to be working well with Criterion right now. Hey, just give it to me. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But moving along to a movie that is kind of newish, I guess, to this slate here, in the sense that we hadn't previously known too much about it, is The Learning Tree, which is directed by Gordon Parks. And I believe I'm kind of, I almost said tangentially familiar with Gordon Parks. Because, he directed Shaft. Okay. That's why.
Yeah.
So, and he directed Shaft after this. So this was his second feature film, and then he directed Shaft's big score, and that's kind of what he's most known for. But apparently he got a special thanks talk about Malcolm X. He had a special thanks for that movie, I guess, from Spike Lee. But this is a coming-of-age film, came out in 1969, and it's set around a, African-American family I believe in the South in the 1920s of all times. And of course it's dealing with racism, social and racial injustice, and all kinds of things going on at that time, and that are still prevalent today. I think that's the most powerful fact of the movie, is that it is still very real and still very prevalent. It's also dealing with something that's extremely prevalent to today in kind of police authority abuse, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the movie, and that's been, of course, very, very much in people's consciousness over the last year, and even more so, for forever, essentially. Steven, did you get a chance to see this movie?
No, not a chance to see this one, but I can see by your description of the film, why Spike Lee was probably inspired by it.
Yes.
Being that it's about, first of all, African Americans' relationship with authority, with specifically the police in this country. So, like, that's a lot of what Spike Lee deals with in his films, whether it be Do the Right Thing or a lot of his '90s work. I mean, it's I could see why, but now I need to check this out. You said you were able to watch this on a streaming service somewhere.
I was able to rent it from Amazon streaming in standard definition, so it's never really gotten a high definition release previously. I believe it has gotten a DVD release through Warner Archive in 2011, and I'm pretty sure that was probably through their made-on-demand service that Warner Archive kind of had that was going on, and I think still going on to this day, from what I understand. And this film also is notorious or known for being the first film to have a Black American director making a Hollywood studio film. So 1969 is not too long ago for that to be happening. What's that, 52 years ago? I can't do math. But, yeah, and it's a good movie. I mean, some of the dialogue isn't great, some of the acting isn't too great, but the themes are very strong, and the movie has a good pace to it, and it's dealing with a lot of different things, covering a lot of ground. It's a coming-of-age film as well. I'm always kind of a sucker for coming-of-age films. Yeah. And it's taking place in an interesting time of the 1920s, because I feel like when we see a film from the 1920s, we always get like that roaring 20s, like, white
typically
society.
We always get like a crime film or a film about the Prohibition or... or like the Great Gatsby world. You know what I mean? Like people going to clubs and like, white aristocratic people. We never really get to see movies about this type of culture in this type of area set in rural Kansas in the 20s. This is right before the Great Depression's going to hit as well. Very interesting film. But in that regard, we do get a bunch of special features as well. Yeah, we got a new 2K restoration from a digital restoration with a uncompressed monaural soundtrack on the Blu-ray. We have a new documentary on the making of the film featuring artist and critic Ina Diane Archer and curator Rhea L. Combs and filmmakers Ernest R. Dickerson and Nielsen George. And we also get a new conversation with moderated by film scholar Michael B. Gillespie and between artist Hank Willis Thomas and art historian Deborah Willis and about the influences of director Gordon Parks. We have My Father, Gordon Parks, a 1969 documentary made on the set of The Learning Tree, narrated by Gordon Parks Jr., which is cool, and featuring interviews with Gordon Parks Sr., members of the cast and crew. We also have Diary of a Harlem Family and The World of Peary Thomas, two 1968 films on which Parks played creative roles with a new introduction by Combs. So that's cool. So that's, in a sense, you could say that's like some produced films by him. You have Unstoppable from 2005, a documentary featuring producer Warrington Hudlin in conversation with Parks and filmmakers Ozzie Davis and Melvin Van Peebles, bringing back that Melvin Van Peebles in there.
That set should be out soon.
Yeah, and so we got a trailer, English subtitles for deaf and hard of hearing, plus How It Feels to Be Black, a 1963 Life magazine photo essay by Parks, and an excerpt from the director's 2005 book, A Hungry Heart, a memoir. So, it's I'm definitely interested. And the cover's by La Boutique. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very French.
Yeah, very French there. So you made it hard for me.
Yeah, I know. I like the cover.
It's a great cover. Yeah,
it's a good cover. It's a good cover of a good movie. I'm down. It's always nice to see Ernest Dickerson in something. The filmmaker Ernest Dickerson, who directed Juice. He was the cinematographer on Do the Right Thing. It's always interesting seeing him talk about movies.
Yeah,
because I've seen him in a bunch of different kind of documentaries over time. He was in the documentary Black Noir, I think it's called, which was about specifically, the horror genre, the
Yeah, I think I've
subgenre
seen
of
that.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
it was on Shudder, I
Shutter.
think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of the only reason why I got Shudder, the streaming service, so I could watch that. But then I ended up keeping it to watch all the movies that they ended up talking about in that documentary. Coincidentally,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about like kind of black horror films and that influence that's in there, and really cool. Things like Candyman and Blackula and all those kind of really cool movies. So it's kind of awesome to see him in there. A lot of what I really love about this and One Night in Miami is all these new produced special features.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling with a lot of like the Criterion re-releases that we get lately, it's just pouring over all the special features we've seen from previous stuff.
Yeah.
And that's about as good as a transition I can get into, quite honestly, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Most definitely.
And this is The Red Shoes by Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. This is probably my favorite film of the 1940s, and it's in my like top 5 all time. And this is one of their, initially 6 UHD releases we were going to get, and then they added another one.
Yeah,
with
Uncut Gems. Yeah.
with Uncut Gems. So technically 7 now for the year 2021. And I think they released all of them, right? Or are they holding back a couple?
I think so.
No, I think they still have to. Like Hard Day's Night, I think still needs
Yeah,
to
Hard
be
Day's
announced.
Night hasn't been announced.
Hasn't been
yet.
announced yet.
Yeah.
But the other ones, I'm pretty sure have. So we're getting in the 4K UHD edition, we're getting a 4K digital transfer from the 2009 restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack. In the 4K UHD edition, one 4K UHD disc of the film presented in Dolby Vision HDR, and one Blu-ray with the film and special features. On the Blu-ray and the DVD editions, high definition transfer from the 2009 restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack. So what that means is, in order to get this new restoration, you have to buy this edition.
Yeah.
They won't be reissuing a Blu-ray regular edition with this new transfer. That's kind of what this says to me. We're getting an introductory restoration demonstration with filmmaker Martin Scorsese. Audio commentary from 1994 by film historian Ian Christie, featuring interviews with actors Marius Goring and Moira Shearer, cinematographer Jack Cardiff, one of the all-time greats, composer Brian Eastdale, and Scorsese. Profile of the Red Shoes, a 2000 documentary on the making of the film, featuring interviews with members of the production team. Interview with director Michael Powell's widow, editor Thelma Shoemaker, one of the greatest editors of all time. From the 2009 Cannes Film Festival. Audio recordings from 1994 of actor Jeremy Irons reading excerpts from Powell and screenwriter Emmerich Pressburger's novelization of The Red Shoes and Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale The Red Shoes. Coincidentally, it's Jeremy Irons' birthday today as of this recording on September 19th. Don't ask me how that lined up. A collection of rare publicity stills and behind-the-scenes photos. Gallery of memorabilia from Scorsese's collection. He famously owns the Red Shoes from the Red Shoes. And then the Red Shoes sketches in 1948 animated film of Hein Heckroth's painted storyboards with the Red Shoes Ballet as an alternate angle. And then we get a trailer, English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, plus an essay by critic David Ironstein and description of the restoration by UCLA film archivist Robert Gitt, and then covered by Efron Miller. It's the same cover that they used for the DVD and the Blu-ray circa 2009. I don't know if I need to explain this movie to people, but it's an amazing film, and it has one of the greatest just in-movie sequences I've ever seen, when they actually like do the whole Red Shoes play for us in the movie. And it's the way it's shown to us is magical. It's movie magic at its finest, in my opinion. Beautiful Technicolor movie. So this is going to pop in the 4K format.
Yeah, I'm excited.
This was made for this.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed. I would say all the features are coming over from the Blu-ray.
Yeah. I think they're just carrying over. There's nothing new here. So
except for I would say the introductory restoration demonstration. I would assume, right? Is that for
there's actually one of
for
those
the Blu-ray?
There's actually one of those on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Because the movie was like really beat up, and Martin Scorsese spearheaded the restoration of it, like he's done with a lot of these movies and a lot of movies in general.
Yeah.
So when people get on Scorsese for whatever things that they don't like what he's saying about Marvel movies, this guy's like saved so much of cinema that was long dead.
The heat is off him a little bit. Now Villeneuve is
now it's on Denis Villeneuve now.
Yeah.
While Scorsese can breathe a sigh of relief, even though I'm pretty sure he doesn't care.
Shits.
I don't think he gives a two shits. But for those of you who don't know about this glorious movie, Moira Shearer plays a rising star ballerina who is torn between an idealistic composer and a ruthless impresario intent on perfection. So it's kind of like a love triangle. And, this poor woman is in the middle of this and she's being torn asunder by it. And the movie's all about, like, how far do you go for your love of your art, your love of your creation, and how perfect can you possibly be? And
it's very similar
past perfection.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very similar to Whiplash that we got. From a few. It's different. From a different viewpoint, and it's not it didn't really have a romantic angle, but
no,
Whiplash.
That's a more nihilistic look at this type of life.
Definitely. Yeah. Not as colorful either.
It's very mean. A lot of yelling, a lot of cursing there.
Yes.
But that is the great film The Red Shoes by Michael Powell and Eric Pressburger, and I can't wait till this comes out on December 14th, right in time for the holiday season.
Is this gonna be your Christmas movie?
That I'll buy myself for Christmas? Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say your whole family gonna watch.
Yeah, I wish.
I mean, it's got red in it, so it is definitely very Christmassy.
It is indeed.
Yeah, and it'll be nice bright red in that 4K. So, but that's it. That's the show.
That is all of it for this week.
Yeah, we not as it's a little. This is probably one of the shortest shows we've had in a while.
Unless we talk for like 20 minutes about nonsense now.
I'm not going to bring up The Rock and start talking about The Rock again or something. That's what we did last episode.
Or Colin Farrell.
Yeah, or Colin Farrell. But yeah, we're going to call it a night. It's good. It's good to get a short episode every once in a while. Give the audience a break from us, so they don't get so tired of us. I know they're getting tired of us. But where can we find you, Andrew?
You can find me on Twitter at Cabzilla06, as well as my YouTube channel, Cabzilla Productions.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can find me at all the Chasing Labels stuff, whether it be our Instagram, our Twitter, or my Letterboxd, which is also at Chasing Labels. You can find the audio for this podcast on all the major players like your Spotify's, your Apple Podcasts, your Stitcher. Just go check us out, please. And please give us a rating. Let us know what you think. Leave some comments. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks again for listening. And hey, keep on watching them movies.
I know I will.